In a nutshell, a value proposition is a short statement that helps your customer know why should they buy your product or service. A value proposition is comprised of 4 different parts. The first is, what is the product or service that you're actually selling? The second is, who is it that you're making this for? Who is the customer that's going to look at this and say, ooh, I really want this. This is really solving a challenge in my life. So that brings me to the third point. What is the pain point or the problem that you're trying to solve for your target customer? And lastly, your fourth is, how is this different than what is available in the marketplace today? What is your customer currently using? And why is this going to be better than what they're doing? I like to think about the value proposition like an internal compass to make sure that every part of the business you're building is really adding value to your target customer. There could be many players in the system. For example, there could be different users. The user could be a child that is different than the person who's actually buying the product, the mother. That could be also different than the person who's paying for the product, potentially the government. So therefore consider, are you missing a particular lens? And if so, it might be useful to write a different value proposition for each key stakeholder in your system. So far, it looks really simple. There's just these 4 components to your value proposition. But just consider that as you work and develop your business, further down the road, holes might appear. To add more robustness to your value proposition, you might want to consider these 3 aspects. The first one is about perception. Does your customer actually know they have a problem, or are you convincing them that they do? And the second point, because this is about building a business, is there actually someone who's willing and able to pay at the price point that makes the entire system sustainable? The last point is, does your product or service integrate easily into your customer's lifestyle or routine? The perceived value of your product or service must be compelling enough to actually change their behavior. If the perceived value is actually very marginal, then your target customer may not actually integrate your product service into their life, even if they're willing and able to pay. If you stress test your value proposition against these 3 aspects, you'll save both time and money and end up with a much stronger solution.